these are some game recommendations of games that I think are cool and that you could check out if you want to. If you want like games to check out or you don't really know what to play, stuff like that. These are just some games that I liked that I would like to recommend as well. So first off, we have Red Tape. Red Tape is like it's an indie game platformer, but it has a cool story with it, and it's just like the atmosphere is cool and it's pretty fun and it's pretty short as well. So it's cool. I like it. Buckshot Roulette, another short game. It may come out with more stuff in the future, but as of right now, it only has a tech demo portion, which is a like death game, card game, sort of, but not really a card game. You have a shotgun that's in the middle. You can choose to shoot the opponent or yourself, and they're it's like Russian roulette where it's loaded with a bunch of blanks and a bunch of live rounds, and you have to like remember what like how many what the different like what the ratio of them is, and then try to use your items in order to strategize so that you can shoot yourself with the blanks and shoot the opponents with the live rounds. It's pretty cool. Marvel Snap. This game I think is the best card game that has been made. I do not like the Marvel aesthetic because I'm not into Marvel, but the game, it's like the game mechanics are insanely good even at beginner level. So like and the worst part about like playing online is the middle section, because you'll get opponents that have cards that you don't have, and I wish the game would like make it to where, because it's pay to play, or it is pay to win. You can get certain cards that have like certain OP abilities. You can still beat them if the opponent is just dumb and doesn't strategize well, or you have like some crazy gambit, which you don't usually. That's the problem. You don't get those cards when you're low level. Besides like basic gambits, which is annoying, but the beginner level is amazing, and the high level is really cool to watch. And I think the game is great, and I wanted to remake the game with a different aesthetic using cards, because I make brand new card games sometimes, but I haven't made it yet. So yeah, I recommend Marvel Snap. 4AM Forever is like a skateboard game, and it is like Chrome Dino basically. It's an endless runner. You click on the mouse and then letting go will like dive bomb. You try to hop on things in like to combo them as well, um, and to try to get a high score. And it's really cool game concept, and I want to make a version of it that is cooler, where it's like my own game. I want to make something where it takes most of the principles of 4AM Forever, but it adds like a looping city, and then like maybe sub areas or like different, basically Jet Set Radio version of 4AM Forever would be sick. Um, Nintendo Land. I think this is the best Nintendo party game uh, that has ever been made. It is insanely good, like amazing. It has a bunch of mini games that are really fun. It is on the Wii U though, and you can only play it on the Wii U. And I wish they would make either a new one or a port, but unfortunately they have not done either of those. But nonetheless, it is really good. There's a bunch of different really good mini games that they have, and they have so many mini games. It's crazy that they have so many good ones. They have a little lore bit where they have this character called Monita, which is like she's a robot, and she takes you around the park and shows you different things. And there's like Dark Monita in the game, and once you get to like a boss of in Metroid Blast, which is one of the mini games you can play, and just all the mini games are really good. They have a rail shooter Zelda game that's rail swordsman as well. Like the gamepad is a shooter because it's bow and arrow, but all the Wiimotes are like swords. It's it's like crazy good. It's insane how good the mini games are, and they're just like parts of Nintendo Land. Metroid Blast is like a gunner game with a little bit bullet hell, not really bullet hell, but just like 3D gunner game. Then they have Luigi's Mansion, which is really good. Uh, it's the person with the gamepad plays the ghost, and they are invisible to the players on the screen. And the players on the screen are trying to hunt down the ghosts through a maze with their flashlights, and they can like coordinate with each other to like corner where they think the ghost could be, and like there will be lightning flashes where they can see the ghost for like a second. Is really good. And they also have this game called Sweet Days, which is a similar type thing, but the roles are reversed. The gamepad is hunting. The gamepad controls two like cops basically, or like I don't even know what they are. Like cannibals, or just poachers, I guess. And you corner the animals, and the animals on the screen are the ones with the Wiimotes, and they're trying to pick up candies and put them in areas. And if you get enough of them, then you win. Then they win. But if the cannibals corner the villagers enough times, then the gamepad person wins. So there's just way too many good mini games in that game, and it's insanely good. Next is Sideswiped Cars. So this game is game for 3DS, and it is so good. So, the pitch. It has really janky physics and a really stylish like look to it. It's really, but it's not hard to control. It's a racing game, and it has like crash physics, and like if you hit the wall, you'll like go flying, and it's really fun. Even when you're in the air, you can kind of control your car, or like when you're spiraling out, like if you're tumbling, you can control your car a little bit. It is like so good. There's also instant mode, which you can jump into. Like it will randomly make a mission for you that's random, and it instantly jumps you into it. And so you can play like a bunch of things random, and you can just set it down. Like if you only want to play for like 5 minutes, you can just do a couple instant mode missions and then just set it down. It's amazing. As a game, so good. Speed Racer. This is another racing game. This is for the Wii. I know there's a 3DS version, but I have not played it. The Wii version is really cool because you can... It's a racing game that's fun, but on top of that, so it's like kind of like Mariokart a bit, but on top of that, you have car foo, which is you can hit cars physically with your T180, like which is the car make model is T180. Your T180 like spin moves, or I forgot what they're called, like special abilities, like where the Mach 5 can jump. Like you can do like you can jump and like spin a car upwards and then like jump and hit them in the air. It's really cool, and I recommend. And there's a ton of content in it, which is really fun as well. The Machine is a Game Boy indie game, and it has this Majora's Mask type loop where you play a series of days as this character, and it's also like a choose your own adventure novel story narrative. So you can go down different paths each time you die, you can do another one, but you go down different paths and you play different like unique versions of the game in different areas of the game. It's set in like this like tractor that's like an organism basically, where a bunch of people live in this closed system, and there's like levels to the system. There's like the slums, and then like low class, mid class, and then high class. And it's interesting because you can go do stuff on using your different lives on different areas, and the gameplay vastly, it's very much like it has a lot of political commentaries as well. Like if you switch the president, like if you can like rally for a certain president to switch the outcomes of like almost all the stories, and that's one of the main things that you can change. And like you can join like a terrorist group, and if you don't join the terrorist group and a certain person gets elected, the terrorist group functions on their own whenever you're playing as a different character, stuff like that. It's just a very well made story game, and it's pretty quick on each life, and so it's really engaging and fun. I recommend it. Kraken Academy has another gameplay loop like Majora's Mask, where after a certain amount of days, the world will be destroyed, and this Kraken that's in the lake gives you the ability to travel back in time to where you started. And so throughout the day, you're trying to figure out throughout the days you're trying to figure out different mysteries in order to solve like what is destroying the world or what is causing the world to be destroyed. And there's really unique characters that are very engaging and interesting. There's a bunch of story elements that are really good, and just it's really interesting. You can also go on dates with a lot of the cast as like a new game plus type thing, which is really fun. I recommend Kraken Academy. Next is Majora's Mask, The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. This game, it has the loop of where you go back in time to the start, and all the NPCs are on like unique routes, and they do different things. And like so, like on a certain day, the I don't know the what like the runner guy, the postman, will be like running through this area or whatever. And so if you want to meet him there, you have to go to the second day, stuff like that. And so you have to like, in order to do side quests, you have to manipulate your ability to jump through time and like know the information before it happens. So you have to like do a bunch of that, and it's a really if there was a game jam, the best game jam I think would be making that type of thing where it's a loop, and that's like the Machine or Kraken Academy. Those types of games I feel like would just be instantly really good, even if like across like all different types, they would all be good, I feel like. So Majora's Mask is where it started, and Majora's Mask is very good. I recommend. Windwaker, The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. This is like cell shaded, very enjoyable game, and it's a bit like it's open world as well, and there's a bunch of really cool areas like islands that you can travel to, and pretty much the whole game is very engaging, very fun. There's a bunch of cool NPCs. It's very fun, like exploration type adventure game. I recommend it highly. Paper Mario, all of the titles. Paper Mario is a great RPG, and I recommend pretty much all of the titles. I would say if you had to start with one, I'd say Super Paper Mario, because I played it on the Wii and it was cool. But pretty much all of them are good. Like I recently finished Origami King, and it was really slow in the beginning, and I was not really enjoying it, but then it picked up really well, and it was pretty fun. I played also the N64 Paper Mario, like the original, and that one is good as well. So I recommend Paper Mario. Final Fantasy VII. I think the remake helps the story a lot, and the story in the original is pretty confusing because there's not really hooks that lead into the like next part of the story. So I feel like the remake does the story way better, even though the remake is like slightly different because there's like that new element of the narrative that they're adding into the remakes. So you know, it's a little bit different. But whenever I was watching, I never played Final Fantasy VII, so like the original, so I guess I can't really say. But I watched the full playthrough and like engaged. And I had to refer to the wiki multiple times. Like the weapons don't make sense, and they happen, and then I'm like, what's happening? The Sephiroth clones don't make sense until way later. just a bunch of stuff that doesn't make sense, and they don't explain it to you until really later, to the point where you can forget what happened. And so I feel like that's just bad writing, but maybe it's just bad writing for somebody who has ADHD. So for the Final Fantasy VII, I would recommend the remake because the story is cool, the style is cool, and Final Fantasy games are great. So I would recommend even the original. The original has a bunch of mini games that are cool, and the music is great, the atmosphere is great, the style is great, the combat is cool. It's just great. Final Fantasy XIII series. If you just finished the first game alone, it is extremely let down-ish, I would say, because it does not explain what is going on in the end. So I feel like that is one of the main sources of reasons people dislike this game, because it's very mixed on the reception of this game. It's very mixed. But if you play the next few games, it justifies the actions of the ending of the first game, and the things about the game that make it cool are not really, well, the story is one of them, but the story is part of it. The style is really good, like all this, it's stylized really well, and the areas are really enjoyable, and the combat is amazing. The combat is, like, I would say incredibly good, probably one of, like, the best Final Fantasy combat I guess I've seen, because I've played it, but I guess I haven't played the other Final Fantasy titles combat, but I think it's just superior. It's definitely superior. The combat system in Final Fantasy XIII is superior to all other RPGs I've played, and I've played quite a few other ones. So I recommend Final Fantasy XIII series. It's also my favorite game series and my favorite games. Realm of the Mad God. This is an MMO with pixel graphics and permadeath. Basically, you go around and you go into dungeons, and it's basically a dungeon rush game, actually. It's also an MMO, so you can play with your friends, and it's free. You go into dungeons and you beat the boss, and then different bosses will give different sets of, like, items, and so if you want a certain item, you have to boss rush a certain dungeon. Like, you have to find it in the overworld and then boss rush it with your friends, and then get the items, and then, like, keep doing it until, like, you get enough items to, like, unlock the next thing that you want, or, like, trade it in for something. There's this really cool aspect of it where there's the overworld that you go into, and in the middle of the overworld is called the Godlands. And in the Godlands are just a ton of gods, and they're just enemies that are really powerful, and even, like, the highest level characters can die very easily when fighting these ones, but they all drop really good loot as well. And so I really like that aspect, because it's just really cool as, like, a mythos type thing. So yeah, I recommend Realm of the Mad God. VR chat. This is a VR game that is really good. It has a bunch of content that's really unique. It's just great. It's great for social stuff as well. Like, I play it a lot. It's helped me socially improve a ton, and I feel like without it, I would be very socially stunted. Pokemon. I would say maybe Arceus or Scarlet Violet, although I have not played those. I played Sun and Moon, but I didn't like Sun and Moon, so I can't really say. But I remember playing Pokemon Oraz on my 3DS, and that was extremely enjoyable for me. So I definitely recommend, if you somehow miss Pokemon, trying it out. It's very fun, especially to play with if you have friends that you can Pokemon battle or trade with. It's very fun. Minecraft. If you somehow haven't heard of Minecraft, it's really good, but Minecraft is on this list. Mariokart, also extremely good game. If you have not played Mario Kart, you should play it. Preferably probably with some friends, I would say. But it's a great base game. The campaign is good on its own. And FNAF Security Breach, I would say this is the best FNAF game in my opinion. because the other ones are very basic to me. If you like horror specifically, you'll like the other FNAF games, but I like atmosphere more, and I like thriller, I guess. So like the lore behind things that are terrifying, not really being terrified itself. So I think FNAF Security Breach really encapsulates that uh, better than. It's also very scary, but it encapsulates the lore factor a lot better. And that's it for this list. If you want to check out any of my other recommendation videos, I'll be making recommendations on movies, music, and YouTube videos that you can go watch. And they will probably be uploaded when this is uploaded. And if they're not, you can check the description of this video because I will list them down there as well. I'll see you in the next video.